At this moment, U.S. officials say they are just overwhelmed at the southern border. So far, each day this week, Border Patrol has processed more than 10,000 migrants. The sheriff from Maverick County, Texas, which sits on the border with Mexico, told CBS News what he's observing.
They're looking for the law enforcement officers, whoever it is. They just want to make sure they get processed, and they know it's going to be somebody from the immigration, like Border Patrol or CBP, but they want to be processed and take them all to up north.
Meantime, Texas Governor Greg Abbott is continuing his efforts to send migrants north to so-called sanctuary cities.
A plane with over 120 migrants flew from the U.S.-Mexico border to Chicago Tuesday under his direction. The White House responded to the move, saying in part, quote, Governor Abbott leaves migrants on the side of the road in the dead of winter, installs razor wire, making it more dangerous for Border Patrol to do their jobs, and promotes extreme laws that will make communities in Texas less safe. Governor Abbott is not interested in solutions. He only seeks to use people as political pawns.
Now, this comes as the conditions facing migrants flown up from the southern border are being met with increased scrutiny. You're seeing an image of a 5-year-old boy who was living in a Chicago shelter and died. For more on this, bring in now CBS News Chicago reporter Sabrina Franza. Sabrina, and I want to begin with what happened to the 5-year-old migrant boy. Who exactly is facing blame for his death, and what's being done in response?
Well, to start, that 5-year-old little boy's name is Giancarlos Martinez Rivero, and the mayor primarily is getting the most heat, Mayor Brendan Johnson, for his death. Just to put this into context, this boy died on Sunday. He and his family just arrived in Chicago a few weeks ago, back in November. And based on what we're learning so far, he and his family were out for the morning, the afternoon, and just about 15 minutes after returning to a shelter that is currently housing over 2,000 migrants. It's one of the largest here in Chicago. He suffered some sort of emergency episode, a medical episode, and there was a 911 call made from the shelter. He was brought to the hospital, and shortly after, he was pronounced dead. This shelter is also one that has been under scrutiny, specifically because he's not the only child that has gotten sick at that shelter. There have been reports of chickenpox at that shelter. There have been 5 others, at least, that we know of that were taken to the hospital. And the mayor was asked about all of this at a press conference the day after that little boy died. And what he had said, which has also come under scrutiny, is that the people that are coming to Chicago, he says, are coming here sick. And volunteers that work at the shelter that are trying to treat these migrants, their response to that is the fact that they might be coming here sick is not the point.
Sabrina, I want to get your take on what we heard from the White House, because obviously Chicago, very cold in the winters. Is enough being done to ensure that migrants who are coming from these warm climates and don't have winter coats, don't have all the gear, that they aren't actually freezing once they get to Illinois?
Well, the thing is, a lot of these people are experiencing the cold, this kind of cold, for the first time. And Chicago's cold specifically is pretty unpredictable. There were a few days in October where people were sleeping outside of police stations in tents, and they were crowding inside those police stations because it was just too cold for them to stay outside. In our experience, talking to some migrants that are here, that have been here, they come outside of these shelters because they're cooped up all day. They have these curfews that they have to maintain. They have to be back inside by a certain time. And when they're outside, there are a few people that are either handing out food, handing out coats. But when people come out and we speak to them, they're wearing flip-flops. They're wearing short-sleeve shirts and shorts. And when they arrive, it is a little bit difficult for the city of Chicago to keep track of them, specifically because the landing zones that they have designated as places to be dropping off migrants, some of these buses are not abiding by those landing zones. So they've actually started to impound some of the buses that are dropping people off in the middle of a random street where these people have no idea where to go, where the resources are, and what to do next.
And these are the buses that were hired by Governor Abbott to bring the migrants to Chicago. Is that right?
Presumably, there are also cases where it seems like a third-party company has been hired, and to track all of this back down to Texas, we see most people coming from the El Paso area, but it isn't clear where people are coming. As you mentioned a little bit earlier, we had a plane, was a first time for Chicago, where we received a plane from Texas that's also coming from El Paso. And the people driving or flying that plane are still at large. The city doesn't know who they are, who hired them, and what they're doing, what they're going to do next.
So, Sabrina, all of this,
it's a very confusing situation here.
Because of the complications that you've just outlined, it sounds like officials in Chicago may not have the resources for these incoming migrants. What are they saying about their ability to handle this at this time of year?
It's frustrating because the city is dealing with revenue streams from their own city, taxpayer dollars. The state is also funding a portion of this mission, but really they're relying on the federal government to come through to supply the majority of what they need to get through this next year. There are a lot of vendors that the city has hired, and the one that specifically was working in the shelter, the one where the 5-year-old boy was living before he passed away, they've received almost $100 million from the city in just the last 12 months. The budget for the migrant crisis that the city allocated is much less than that for the next fiscal year. So they're definitely going to be relying on the state and the federal government to supply those extra needed funds. The mayor's been down to D.C. a few times, and he says he's going to continue to do so alongside other mayors around the country that also need this money for this crisis.
Well, Sabrina Franza, great to get your comprehensive report on all that's happening where you are there in Chicago. Thank you very much.